Running now.
Welcome to Unlearn the Crap TV with your host, Kathy Baldwin. Unlearn the Crap TV is more than just a show. It's a movement towards breaking free from the disempowering structures designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. It's about education, healing, and unlearning the detrimental beliefs that have been ingrained in society for generations. So now, please welcome the host of Unlearn the Crap TV, Kathy Baldwin.
Welcome to Unlearn the Crap TV, where we question everything so we can achieve anything. Hi, I'm Kathy Baldwin. I am your host and your welcome to my first time on this show where I got stumbled on my words on the first time. We're not supposed to be perfect here. We're supposed to be authentically aligned in who we are. And that's part of the crap that we're supposed to unlearn, that we're supposed to show up perfect or we're not acceptable. So I guess the universe wanted me to start off with that lesson. In this first show, I'm going to introduce you to what the show is, what the show is about, what our mission, what our goal, what our purpose is all about. I'll tell you a little bit about me, not very much, because you're going to get to know me through these shows. And together, we're going to evolve. But first, before I go too much farther, let's start with the elephant in the room. Unlearn the crap. Whoops, sorry, wrong side. Unlearn the crap. My logo. I chose this logo with so much purpose and so much intention that I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not meant to be offensive. It is not meant to be anything other than what it is, a representation of me, a representation of this show, and a representation of what we're going to achieve. So if you'll notice, I used a cute little poop emoji. It's cute. It's fun. It has green eyes like I do. But on the cute side, it's showing that we're here to have some fun. We're here to poke at the bear of social norms and what we should do and what we should look like and what we should say. Instead, to just show up authentic and real and not worry about the crap that other people think about us. So if my poop emoji is offensive or disruptive to you, I encourage you to challenge that thought, because what I say and what I do is about me, but what you say and what you do is about you. And the one thing that I have learned through all of this is that our bodies are talking to us. And if something is coming up that is bothering you, if something is coming up that is making you uncomfortable, your body is talking to you. There's something in there that your inner heart and soul wants you to know. So if my cute little boop is offensive, good. Challenge it. Now, on the serious side about Unlearn the Crap, it was also based on the fact that I am the author of Unlearn the Crap about personal success and empowerment. This is my book. My book is my journey. My journey is turned into my message. It's turned into my mission. I will get to the background of all of that, but I want to stay with my Unlearn the Crap logo. I want to tell you a little story. When I was growing up, I had the most amazing mother. She was my hero. Whenever you would go to those school events and they'd say, "Who is your hero?" I would always say, "My mom." My mom was a young teenage bride in the 60s because, surprise, here I was coming. And she turned that into an amazing life. She became high on the corporate ladder. She was successful. She was adored. She had friends, and people always gravitated to her. She achieved financial success. She achieved beautiful life with family and friends and the most amazing social life. But she had this joke, and this joke was, I'm so perfect that I don't have bodily functions. And that's how she'd say it. It took me through my healing journey to realize that the joke that she had been saying my whole entire life had affected the way my body worked. You see, our bodies are a complex, interconnected, interrelated system. And our brains are wired by our environment, our thoughts, our beliefs, our processes. And because it's all interconnected and interrelated, I had 30 plus years of horrible, horrible digestive pain. I couldn't go to the bathroom in public. Never could I use a Johnny on the spot. If I had the only choice was to use a gas station bathroom, I would have rather have let it all reabsorb into my body and go to the hospital than use that bathroom. I had IBS. I had ulcers. I had so much pain. And so when I went through my healing journey and came to the root cause, because you're going to find that everything we're talking about here is all about root cause analysis and getting to what is actually happening, what our body is talking to us about. When I got to the root cause of why I was having so many digestive issues, do you know that I realized that my brain was telling me that there was something wrong with me because I had bodily functions? I was so ashamed that I needed to go to the bathroom. I would hold it for so long. I used to make a joke that I was a camel because I could hold it. But it made me sick in so many ways. And so part of my unlearning the crap was that to be a whole and complete human being, that required that my body had bodily functions. And in order for me to be healthy and happy and aligned and integrated, I needed to not only accept those bodily functions, but I needed to understand what they were telling me. I needed to understand the language of my body. I needed to understand what my poop was telling me, literally and figuratively. And so, Unlearn the Crap logo was chosen purposefully. And it was chosen as a way for us to step into the reality that it's not all pretty. It's not all easy, but it's not supposed to be. And that's part of the crap that we need to unlearn. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments about my logo, feel free to share them. Part of this show is that we are here on a collaborative adventure. We're here on a collaborative voyage. Let me give you a little bit of history about how Unlearn the Crap TV came about. Well, when I was approached by Bold Brave TV and said, you know what, you're saying some things that we want to help you get your voice out into the world. And I became so excited because the idea of having my own TV show, I mean, seriously? I wasn't a superstar. I wasn't a person on TV. I wasn't anything special. But that was part of my crap was I realized through this adventure that I am special, just like you are, because we all are, and we all have a place, and we all have a gift that the world needs. My gift just happens to be I got a pretty passionate, strong voice, and I'm not going to worry about who I offend anymore. And I'm not going to worry about being the good little girl. And I'm not going to think about what it will take for you and you and you and you and you and you to accept me because it doesn't matter anymore. And I hope it doesn't matter for you anymore because we are all here for a reason and what's special. So let me go back. I know I digressed a little bit, but we came up with how the show was going to be structured. Will, you'll hear from his voice quite a few often. He is our background guy, the guy in the background. Say hi, Will.
Hello.
I know, yay, there he is. He's going to be here with us. And so when you hear that voice popping in, know that we're all here together as a team and here to bring some fun and enjoyment to this. So, Will, do I have time to continue this story in this section?
You got like a minute.
I have a minute. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to save the story on how this show evolved because we are in 4 segments. And this is almost the end of our first segment. I can't believe how fast it's gone. So when we come back, I want to share the story of the evolution of how this all came about. Will, are you ready?
Yes, I am. All right.
Okay.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Okay, so have you been sitting with bated breath waiting for you to now know what this story is about how we came up with this show? Let me tell you. Through my journey, I have been guided by numbers. And so my numbers that have been guiding me are 1111, 111. And everyone in my family and friends, I think it's hilarious because whenever something really important happens in a moment in time, if I look, the clock will always, there'll be some sort of numbers that indicate that, yes, I'm on track. And the numbers 111 are symbolic for you're on the right track, you're on the right path. So when Will and I were talking about how to develop the format of this show, and I told him how important it was that we incorporate the metaphor, the spirituality, the energetic component of numbers, his response was Thursday is the fourth day of the week. Beautiful. I said, okay, so if Thursday is the fourth day of the week, well, we have to do this at 4 o'clock. So here we are. From now on, Unlearn the Crap TV will be on the fourth day of the week at 4 p.m. Eastern. I will be here live come hell or high water. Now, that was just the basis of it. We got to keep rolling with this. So, every show is going to have 4 segments, and every show is going to have one main topic. And that one main topic will cover 4 shows. Now, before I go into the rest of the 4s, let me tell you a little bit about part of what I talk about in Unlearn the Crap about success and personal empowerment in my book. And that is the universal laws. You see, we were taught how to drive. We were given a learner's permit and a little book that told us about the rules of the road and what a stop sign meant and what a yield sign meant and what speed limits and all the rest of the rules of the road, so that we were all playing on the same playing field with the same rules. I mean, it's chaotic enough out there. At least we should have the basis of the same rules, right? Well, we were also then taught how to drive a car, how to steer, how to park, how to brake, how to accelerate, how to use this vehicle. It's a really powerful, strong vehicle. And if we were just given our dream car, mine is a red convertible Mercedes. So if anyone out there wants to help sponsor this show and be Mercedes, come see me, because I will happily do that. Anyways, I digress again. Imagine going out into the world in your dream vehicle and you're just winging it. You're just learning by trial and error. Could you imagine the damage that you would do to that vehicle? Well, that's what I did to my body. My body is my vehicle. I had this powerful vehicle that I was bringing out into the world, and I was banging against every wall and just the dents and the bangs and the repairs and everything that I did because I didn't know how to drive the vehicle of my own body. And the third thing about going out into this world that I talk about in my book, Unlearn the Crap, is that we are given a GPS. We have an internal GPS. And our internal GPS, I'm going to be talking about throughout this show. But one of those things is our feelings, our vibrations, our emotions. Those are our intuition. You add that to the more you know, and the more those become honed and very easy for you to navigate because you become an expert. So, what are the rules of the road? They're the universal laws. And we talk about the universal law of attraction. It's everywhere. It came out in The Secret, and people started talking about it. And the attraction you will just manifest. Well, that's true, but it's only a small part of it. What we were never told is there are 12 universal laws. And the law of attraction is an effect, not a cause. So if we were going to go to root cause, where our power is on what we attract, The laws that I love and have come through this whole journey of mine, and that I base this entire show on, is the universal law of relativity. Well, if you've heard about Albert Einstein talks about the universal law of relativity being in relation to time space continuum. But I want to bring it into the personal because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a physicist. And so I'm sure most of you aren't either. Everything is true in relative perspective to the event. Now, what do I mean by that? Have you ever talked to a couple who's been married forever and you ask them about something that they both experienced together? And do you watch the fight that comes out because of the differences of opinion? No, that didn't happen like that. Oh, you missed this. Or what about that? And I've always found that so comical until I understood the law of relativity. And that is, there are no wrong perspectives. Every perspective is true. Every perspective is powerful. Every perspective creates. The question is the perspective empowering or is it disempowering? And if you have a disempowering perspective, a disempowering story, well, guess what? You end up creating disempowerment in your life with disease, with disharmony, with all the other DISs that are out there. I did it. I was the queen bee of total disconnection, disharmony, dis everything. I created fibromyalgia, adrenal fatigue, osteoarthritis. I had ulcers. I had to have both knees replaced. My body was screaming at me. My body was telling me that there was something wrong. But my story and my perspective was this is normal. Everybody hurts. Put on your big girl panties and get out there because if it's to be, it's up to me. And don't worry about it. If you're tired, you can sleep when you're dead. All of this crap I believed. And when I took on those beliefs, I created a life that was, I call it Gumby. I mean, I was pulled into so many different directions that I did not know what my true perspective was. I did not know that could have boundaries. I did not know that I could say no. I did not know that you could be a good girl and be aligned and powerful and make your life the way it's supposed to be. So, if everything is true based on its perspective, and we're going to have a topic that lasts 4 shows, well, we need different perspectives. Our body is an interconnected, interrelated system. We live in an interconnected, interrelated world. We have everything is connected. So let's say we were going to talk about money. Well, wouldn't you like to think about the perspective of how money affects your health? Not just your wealth, your relationships, your sex life, your relationships with your family and your spouse and your children, your relationship with yourself, your ability to live in purpose, your spiritual connection. Well, money cannot operate in an interconnected system without being interconnected to everything. And so that's what we're going to do is we're going to take a topic and we're going to bring in perspectives from different experts, from different areas of life. Because I don't know everything, and I know you don't know everything, and they don't know everything. And if none of us knows everything, what happens if we collaborate? What happens if we bring the best of ourselves to each other and then we don't need to be the expert to get a wide range of perspectives in order to find out whether or not our perspectives are empowering or disempowering, and what we don't know that we don't know. So every show will have 4 different perspectives. There will be my perspective. There will be the perspective of the 2 perspective experts that I'll bring on. And I've been looking high and low to find some amazing people that you are either going to resonate with or you're not. But whether you do or you don't, it's still information for you. It's still going to help you with your own perspective. And the 4th perspective is yours. This is not the Kathy Baldwin show. This is a movement of collaboration and unity that I'm bringing out into the world to help us all unlearn our crap. I have a huge mission and a huge purpose that's going to go along with that. And I'm wondering if that needs to wait to the next section. Will, how am I doing with time?
You got approximately probably like a minute left.
Okay. Thank you for that. So you will also have Will's perspective. But I'm going to say that Will's perspective is going to be considered as part of the community and part of the audience. So I want us to bring our perspectives together. I want us to think about whether or not we agree or disagree. And if we agree or disagree, why? What story does that bring from our past? What effects does that do to our body? What does it do for the value of our life and our contribution? Take a look at these different perspectives and challenge your own thoughts, because you might be doing really good, but you might be able to do really amazing things and do wonderful. You might not be doing so well, and you've got an opportunity to change your perspective.
Hey, Kathy, it's Will here. 30 seconds. Just giving you a good old
Okay.
reminder.
Okay, well, I'll save the rest of that next section and that thought for the next time. So I'll let you take over, Will.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
So if I got your attention, I've got your curiosity as to what's happening, good, because there's so much more that we're putting into this show. We're going to go along with the theme of fours. Every single show is going to have four results that we're achieving for. And that is for all of us to achieve what I call the four P's: passion, peace, purpose, and prosperity. That is our birthright. That is how we were meant to live. We were not meant to be the worker bees and the drones that take care of the 2% of the population, while 98% of us are just going along with the crap that we're being fed. We are responsible for taking the information that we're supposed to be taught. And we're not supposed to be taught. Well, I'm going to talk about the education system at one point, because the education system was based on getting us to be in conformity and filling jobs. Our education system was never taught or there to teach us how to learn, how to discover who we are, how to be empowered, how to find our path. And so with this show, we are bringing those perspectives. We are bringing that education. And you have the right to know all of this to make an informed decision. It's time that we go back to critical thinking, where we do not just accept things because we've been told them or because it's always been that way. Now it's time to challenge and really come about of making our world, our life, all four of the P's. We're here for passion, we're here for peace, we're here for purpose, and we are here for prosperity. The other fours that we're going to be incorporating into this show is the 4 C's. Contribution. My contribution, your contribution, our guest expert's contribution. We all have a reason that we are here to contribute to the world. You are not a nameless part of a system like an ant or one of the bees in a worker bee's farm. You have a special contribution that the world is waiting for. And so all of our contributions are so vitally important. It's also important that we have connection. Part of the crap that we have been dealt is a society of disconnection, where we are not our brother's keeper anymore. We are not there supporting each other. We don't have the communities and the tribes and the intergenerational families that we came from before the Industrial Revolution. We were raised in an environment where there was strength in numbers and someone always had your back, and you didn't have to go it alone, and you didn't have to know it all. And you didn't have to be ashamed of being different because you were supposed to be different. If your community was everybody was a baker, well, who would be the blacksmith and who would be the gardener and who would be all the other parts of the puzzle that our communities need? We're not meant to be the same. We are all important and we all matter, but we're not the same. If we were the same, it would be like living in a snowstorm where everything was white. You've got no depth, no perspective, you've got no energy. Everything is just blotted out. It is part of the universal laws that it is the energy of the positive and the negative, the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine. It is those differences that create charge, and it's that charge that takes the energy and brings it to life. That's what we're here to uncover and bring about for each person. And the fourth C, I think I mentioned them all: contribution, connection, communication, and collaboration. I'm going to talk about collaboration right now in regards to the Unlearn the Crap show as it connects to prosperity. I believe that we are in a massive paradigm shift. The world is changing. We have lived for centuries under a world of patriarchy, of control, of dominance, of power, of being told the structure that we have to live in. And when we don't fit into that box, we're deemed as something is wrong with us. And that is changing. Our education system, our government system, our medical system, every system has been siloed. But we can't have siloed systems in an interconnected, interrelated system that we live in. And so those systems need to start to come together in collaboration as well. And so one of the things that I believe in is that unless we all take responsibility for our own financial independence, then we're dependent. And when we are dependent financially, it's another form of slavery, of control, of manipulation, of disempowerment, of disconnection from who you're supposed to be. And so if we all have the responsibility to be independent financially, and our current system is based on that job, where we show up and we're told when to work, how to work, what we get paid, what we're valued at. There's no independence there. That was the dream that we were sold. It was part of the crap that we bought into. But I don't know about you. I've been laid off twice, where my employer decided whether I still had an income coming in. That's not empowerment. That's not empowerment when we're living paycheck to paycheck. It's not empowerment when we're putting our retirement money into mutual funds that keep us locked into earning just enough that we don't fire our mutual fund provider. You want to know more about that? Go Google John Vogel, the guy who came up with mutual funds. They weren't designed for your empowerment. They were designed to make profits off of your money. Okay, so if the old system, the old crap isn't working, what's our choice? Well, we now live in a time where I believe that AI, automation, robotics are coming about, and they are taking away all of the need for human beings to be doing manual, repetitive tasks. Well, that's what our jobs have been based on. It's been based on being able to be duplicatable and replicatable and replaceable, so that it didn't matter who was in that role. Well, if AI and robotics and computerizations can do that, where does that leave us? Well, to me, I think we are in the greatest moment in time, because what it leaves is the humanness of who we are. It leaves our compassion, our innovation, our imagination, our love, our passion, our joy. Could you imagine a world where you just did what your heart and soul called you to do? What would you bring to the world? What changes would happen in the world? Would you save the oceans? Would you be planting trees? Would you be helping children? Would you be finding the newest, greatest thing that is going to evolve our world and our lives so that we all rise up together and become the greatest versions of ourselves? Well, it's my utopia, but I believe we are closer to that than we have ever been. And I believe it's coming faster than we can ever imagine. So, what does that mean? That means that we have affiliate programs. And an affiliate program is basically a referral. When you love something and you share that information with somebody, normally somebody else reaps the benefit of it. But what if you were wearing an Unlearn the Crap logo and you were referring Unlearn the Crap books and my coaching programs and the TV show and everything else that I have to offer? Shouldn't you be rewarded for that referral? Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. Every single expert that is going to be coming on this show is going to have an affiliate program where not only will I reap the benefit of them and their expertise and their gifts, and they reap the benefits of their expertise and their gifts, but you are the main driving force of this. You have the ability to go and choose where you want your individual multiple streams of income by saying, I believe in this. I stand behind that. This is something I want to promote. And when you take your voice and your power and you attach it to a way of making additional multiple streams of income and your ability to live on a way that does not require you to live within your means or to choose needs versus wants, or for God's sakes, choose paying your bills over eating or living. That's not life. But if you can take your gifts into the world and not worry about being financially compensated for it, you're just doing it because you love it, which is what I'm doing here. I don't need any money for what I'm doing here. I have never been more alive
Hey,
and
Kathy. Oh, you have like a minute left.
okay. Well, I'm going to save some of those thoughts because I was starting to get on a passion roll. And once I get on a passion roll, it's difficult to stop me. So, Will, I'll let you take this one.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
So that is the basis of Unlearn the Crap. We're going to celebrate the fours. The four, its number means collaboration and unity. I didn't know that until after we figured this one out, but I love it. So we are going to have four experts, four perspectives every fourth day of the week at 4 p.m. We're going to strive to achieve the four P's: passion, your passion, what lights you up, what makes you come alive, what you are here to have, that energy of the universe, because everything is energy. It's a proven fact. I'm going to digress for just a little bit on that one, because I learned about energy when I took my daughter to a school trip to a nuclear facility. And the tour guide said to all of us on her first sentence was that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred or transmuted. So how are we going to transfer and transmute our energy? I'd rather we transfer and transmute our energy into empowerment, into passion. So we create peace. Because when you are living your true passion, there is peace within you. You lose the conflict. And you're going to learn through so many of these shows that when you are at peace and in alignment within yourself, when your three brains, yes, you have three individual intellectual brain systems within you. You have the brain you know about, but we also have the brain of our heart and we have the brain of our gut. All three of them are powerful and all three are interconnected. When we add that to how our chakras, our energy systems are all aligned, and now we align that with our passion and our purpose, and now we make things happen. And when we make things happen and we are living within our integrity in the four P's, we are creating prosperity for all of us, not just the 2%. At no point is it necessary for any one of us to succeed at the expense of somebody else. We actually can succeed and prosper and have full prosperity when we do it in collaboration. And collaboration is the four C's. We have your contribution, my contribution, our contribution, what we are here to contribute. Add that to being in a collaborative, cooperative, connected environment where we all communicate. And I apologize for my computer in the background. I'll make sure that's not there the next show. But we have the four C's that are driving and making the four P's happen. Well, as human beings, we also have four needs. Our four needs, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first is our physiological needs. We need air and water and food and shelter and sleep and sex. Sex is not taboo. Sex is part of the energetic transfer of our world. It is the creative force. It is our passion and our creation within us. That is part of the crap we need to unlearn. And I'm going to be talking openly and honestly about the creative power of owning your sexual energy and getting rid of anything that has to do with shame and blame, because that has been one of the greatest things that have disempowered so many people, is not only feeling that we shouldn't have bodily functions, but that we shouldn't have sexual desire. And that is so wrong. It is so powerful. It is built into the basic human need. Actually, it's built into the basic need of everything, from trees and animals and everything. It is that basic. The next level is safety. We must be able to have security, financial, environmental, a safe place to live and have a nice home. We need to be able to have safety with our health, that our body is not betraying us and that our body is not going against us. Because trust me, as someone who's been there, I was Humpty Dumpty. I did fall. I did break into a million pieces because those pieces were the crap that I was being told was what I was supposed to live. And now I've stepped into who I authentically am. And I'm going to show you how all that happens through all the different perspectives. The third human need is
Hey,
love.
Kathy, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is your good old 2-minute warning, okay?
2 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wrap up. Come, join us. Be a part of this changing environment that we're having in the world. Tell your friends. Tell 4 friends. Have them tell 4 friends. Every single Thursday at multiple streaming locations. We're going to be on video streaming. We were going to be on audio streaming. I will have all the show notes there. I'm going to introduce you to some amazing people who are going to challenge the status quo and help you find your own perspective by showing you theirs so that you can find your own. We're going to create passion, purpose, peace, and prosperity. We are going to become in collaboration with our communication and our connections. We are going to rise up and make this world a fantastic place where we love and live and collaborate and we make things happen. No more victims, no more anything that is disempowering. We have the choice, and I'm going to show you how you find your choice and where you find your power. Because like they said in The Wizard of Oz, when Glinda looked at Dorothy and said, "My dear, you've always had it within you, and you have everything you need in order to live the life you were meant to be here for." I have seen too many people leave this world with regrets of things undone and things unsaid and not living full potential. I'll share some of my personal stories. I have no problem being open and vulnerable because I'm not being ashamed of being judged anymore. Like me, don't like me. But whatever it is that's coming at you in whatever world, I encourage you to challenge your thoughts, challenge your feelings, challenge your beliefs.
1 minute, Kathy.
Find a way to unlearn your crap and step into the beauty that we all are. And I encourage you to come back and collaborate and comment. There's a place for you where you are going to be asked to bring in your comments and be part of the conversation through text, through email, through comments. Please bring your own comments and perspective to this conversation. Let's do this together. Any more time, Will?
10 seconds, pretty much.
Okay. I'm here for you. Question everything, achieve anything, and welcome back to Unlearn the Crap TV with Kathy Baldwin. I'll see you next Thursday.
This
All right,
has
Kathy,
been Unlearn
great
the Crap
job.
TV with your host, Kathy Baldwin. Tune in each week as Kathy challenges you to rethink everything you know about personal empowerment and societal structures. Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.